You're listening to Procurement 6, the weekly podcast from the team at Art of Procurement that summarizes this week in procurement in just 6 short segments.
Hi there, I'm Helen Mackenzie, and today is Friday, May 6th, 2022.
6.
How much are you prepared to pay for better? As prices rise, the pressure for procurement to find savings isn't going away. But sometimes cheap and cheerful isn't the right option for the business, is it? Sometimes it's better quality that's needed. That trade-off between price and quality is one of the most important conversations we have with our stakeholders before we're running a sourcing process. And how we bring that trade-off to life for them is key in helping them really think about what they need. Now, you often hear the phrase, "Why buy a Rolls Royce when a Mini is all you need?" And I've used this approach in the past to have these conversations with stakeholders. And when I've done this, I've encouraged those stakeholders to put a value on the extra quality. For a product, I've asked, is that additional feature worth an extra $1, an extra $100, an extra $1,000? For services like consultancy, I've questioned whether that direct experience of a particular project or a scenario really is essential. And if it is, how much extra they're prepared to pay compared to another supplier who has all the core capabilities that they need, just not that direct experience. Often the challenge opens up a conversation that can lead to a much better set of questions in the RFP. It often leads to a great outcome at the end of the sourcing process and less results that lead to those Rolls-Royce solutions that the stakeholder really didn't need.
5.
In this week's podcast, Philip Eidson is in conversation with one of our community's most impactful leaders, Sustainable Procurement Pledge co-founder Thomas Utzon. While the whole podcast is jam-packed with insight on sustainability, I wanted to share this extract with you, where Thomas shares his vision for the impact procurement can have.
What I find so fascinating about procurement is that it's endless. I think the opportunities are lying in front of you, and it's up to your own curiosity and capabilities and ingenuity to make the most out of that. And that is very appealing to me. It is not something you will read in a book. It is a craft, and it's something that you can also build with experience. I see us as in the larger scope of things in the world. I see us as catalysts for positive change. Mm-hmm. I think we have an enormous impact on how the world of business commerce is being conducted. How we all deal with a lot of the sustainability challenges we have, but also inside our organizations, where we are just one of the few functions that has touch points across the whole value chain.
A catalyst for positive change. Now, if that doesn't make you crazy in love with procurement, I don't know what will.
4.
Now, while you might not directly purchase Cafeteria Services, it's a great example of a category where profit margin is very low. It's around 3%. And when we're dealing with suppliers in a category like this, we need to bear in mind that too much pressure on the cost of the service may affect the quality of what we get back from them in return. So a great way to evaluate which supplier is the best fit for you, if cost is a key consideration, is to ask a question during sourcing. What you're after here is something that will help you determine their ability to creatively keep costs at the desired price point without negatively impacting demand. And if you want the full roundup of the key price drivers for the category, head on over to Art of Procurement to find out more.
This is Procurement 6 from Art of Procurement. To get notified every time an episode is published, go to artofprocurement.com/subscribe. 3.
My colleague Kelly Barner was one of just 100 content creators selected by LinkedIn earlier this year for the inaugural LinkedIn Creator Accelerator Programme. And she was the only creator in the procurement space. Now, the focus of her work for the programme was supplier diversity, something we know has the potential to be a catalyst for positive change. I thought the point Kelly made about how technology can help bring more diverse suppliers into the mix rather than hinder it was really interesting. Here's what she said. As we distribute more by authority into the enterprise, there's been a huge push towards either self-guided buying or self-sourcing within procurement that actually increases the likelihood that decisions will be made on value factors other than cost. So great news for those of us working to put these solutions in place to empower buyers. Perhaps buying from more diverse suppliers doesn't all need to be controlled by procurement after all.
2.
In the UK, it's financial year-end results reporting time for supermarket retailers, and relationships with suppliers are getting a mention for keeping costs in check. Quoted in the Manchester Guardian, Ken Murphy, the chief executive of Tesco, reported that his team are laser-focused on keeping the cost of the weekly shop in check, working in close partnership with our suppliers, as well as doing everything we can to reduce our own costs. Meanwhile, on their website, Sainsbury's CEO Simon Roberts thanked suppliers for their support during the last year. He stressed that partnership and collaboration through these times of significant industry challenge and change have never been more important. It's great to see the importance of good supplier relationships being promoted by the C-suite.
1.
On May the 11th, we'll be joined by Joseph Sakura, founder of the International Association for Data Quality Governance and Analytics, and Vishal Patel of iValua for an AOP Live session. The discussion is going to focus on the results of the International Association's 5th Annual Data Quality and Governance study. The study addresses the critical goal of improving the quality of supply chain data and governance to support data-driven decision-making and provide insights into procurement's current digital readiness. Now, Joseph and Vishal will answer live questions from the audience related to data quality and actionability. And in particular, topics they're going to cover are how to get started on data quality journey despite the complexity of today's business environment, best practices and rule of thumb about the lifespan of corporate data, and what procurement should be doing differently and or better with the system-generated data that they already have access to. To make sure you don't miss out, register today. Just go to artofprocurement.com/calendar to find out more. And you can find all the links associated with the stories mentioned today at the show notes page for this episode at artofprocurement.com/podcast.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next Friday at 6 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you've enjoyed this pod, help us grow and tell your peers to search for Procurement 6 wherever they get their podcasts.